Hello, how are you doing? Welcome to my podcast about weather vocabulary in English. Today I'm going to go through a recent real life story and along the way teach you all the vocabulary about weather and forecast in English. Let's start. Some time ago, my friend and I set out on a road trip. First, I said we should check the forecast and see what the weather is going to be like. If it's good, we can take the trip. If not, we should postpone it for another date. We checked the weather forecast. It said the weather is going to be changeable during the weekend. We were going there on the weekend. The forecast said the weather is going to be changeable on that weekend. At the time the forecast was announcing the weather, it was all clear and sunny. But since they said it's going to be changeable, we didn't know what to expect ahead. We set out on the road in our car. Uh, we went halfway on the road. Suddenly it started drizzling. Okay, drizzling means light rain. It's not a problem at all when it's drizzling because it is raining very lightly in fine droplets. You would even feel pleasant when it is drizzling out there. Okay, so far so good. We continued on our journey, hoping that it was just going to be a drizzle. As we moved along, it started to get a bit chilly. When it's chilly, it is a bit cold for you to feel a bit unpleasant. It started to be chilly. At the beginning of the journey, the weather was perfect. The temperature was mild. Okay, mild. If the temperature, if the weather is mild, then it's pleasant. It's not too cold nor too hot. It is the best temperature at which human body feels good and pleasant. At the beginning, it was mild, but halfway through the road, it became a bit chilly. We started to feel a bit cold in the car. And since it was drizzling out there, I had to use my Viper. So far, there was nothing to worry about. We drove on until it started pouring. When it is pouring, it rains heavily. It's not like those small, fine droplets of water. No, it rains heavily. You, when you are driving and it is pouring, your visibility is decreased. You don't see up ahead of you, and sometimes even the wipers of the car, as it was the case with us, couldn't keep up with the speed of the rain. The rain was falling so fast that even the windscreen's wipers couldn't keep up. So we couldn't see ahead of us. We had to pull over and wait for the rain to slow down. We did that. We waited, we pulled over the car and waited by the road for some minutes. Then the rain stopped. But after some time, it started again because it was a shower. A shower is a weather condition when it rains heavily and then stops, and then it starts again and then stops. When there are irregular intervals between the periods of raining, we call it a shower. So we had to drive on when the rain stopped, and when it began to rain again, we had to pull over and wait in the car. We took this trip in spring, and spring is the season where the weather is always mild. It neither gets too cold nor too hot. So we hadn't taken with us any warm clothes. But once we got there in this city, it was kind of freezing. We didn't expect that. It was not cold, it was something uh, more intense than that. So we went to our apartment, the apartment we had rented, turned on the heat. There was a good heating system in the apartment, and we turned it on. We couldn't do any of what we had on our agenda. We thought maybe the next day it could be better. So we went to bed at night, hoping we could go have a walk around the city in a good weather the next day. Then the next morning we woke up, and we woke up to the sound of thunderstorm. Well, that was that was like the worst part of our trip. We woke up to the sound of thunder. Thunder is the sound heard from the sky after a lightning. When there are a lot of clouds, rainy clouds in the sky, sometimes they collide with each other and they create a flash. That flash is called lightning. And a few seconds after you see the flash, you hear a bang sound from the sky. That sound is called thunder. We woke up to the sound of thunder, and we went out of the apartment only to see there was a hurricane. And then it started to hail. Hail is the small balls of ice that fall like rain from the sky. When it is hailing, or when you see the balls of ice falling from the sky, you have to take cover. You have to stay in a shelter, because if it hits you, it can even get you injured. It can cause serious damage to your car if you are driving and it is hailing. It can, for example, break the windscreen or other windows of the car, or it can even dent the body of the car. So it started hailing, and there was no possibility to go outside. So we had to wait inside for another couple of hours, and it was still in the morning. We had some time to spare. Then the tornado disappeared and the hail stopped. We thought that was a good time to go out in the city and visit some touristic places. We did that. We drove around the city and visited some very beautiful landscapes. We went to a sort of small forest. There was a route for cars through the forest. We took the route and went through the forest. But once we were halfway through the forest, our visibility reduced significantly because it started to be foggy. When there is rain for a long time and suddenly it stops, then fog comes about. That was exactly what happened. It had been raining for 2 days. When there is fog in the air, you don't see outside. Okay, when you are in the car and driving in the fog, it's impossible to see the outside. Sometimes it can be a bit misty, especially close to the sea or in the mountains. It is always misty, but through the mist you can still see. You can drive in the mist. It's quite possible to drive in the mist because it is not so dense as fog. When it is foggy, then you completely lose your visibility. Fog usually happens after a rain stops, but mist can happen at any time. It is not necessarily linked to the periods of raining. But the good thing about raining is that if you live in a sort of industrial city and there are always pollutants and chemicals in the air, the rain can clear the air for you. That is what happens every time it rains here in my hometown. I live in a very polluted city when there is always smog in the air. Smog is very similar to fog or mist, except that it is caused by pollutants and chemicals in the air, whereas mist and fog are caused by the humidity and drops of rain in the air. So we had to pull over the car and wait again because we had completely lost our visibility. As the night was approaching, the fog also went away, and we could drive back home. It was quite an adventurous day for us. Fortunately, the rain stopped after a couple of days. There had been times in the past when it continued raining for many weeks non-stop, and then the city was flooded. Everything in the city went underwater. When it rains a lot, it can cause a flood. A flood is regarded as a natural disaster that can kill people, can damage houses. Everything goes under the water when it floods or when there is a flood. Fortunately, that was not the case when we were on the journey. It stopped, the rain stopped after 2 days, and there was no flood following it. We were quite content with the trip. Both my friend and I thought, even though on the first couple of days of our trip, the weather was changeable and we couldn't go out in the city, the all the following days, the weather was settled and good. We thought to have another trip next spring. I think spring is a very good season for traveling. What about you? When do you usually travel, and what is the weather like where you go on your travels? Is it settled or changeable? Is it rainy or sunny? Please leave your comments about a trip you took recently where the weather turned bad and changed all of your plans. Leave your experience of a trip like that down in the comments. I'll read all of the comments and try to learn from you if there is something else I need to mention in these podcasts of English. You can also leave it down there in the comments. I'm going to add it to my next episodes. Okay. Thank you for coming with me to the end of this podcast. And next time, I'll come back with another topic and another set of vocabulary. Have a nice day. Goodbye until next time.